Hello everyone, it's Scott and welcome back to another episode of Agrarian Skies 2. So I've been a little bit under the weather lately. My voice hasn't been doing too well, but I think I'm ready to record another episode, so here we are. So in between, I have built this new Big Reactor. So this is actually a 16 by 16 by 16 cube of a Big Reactor filled with Endurium, or the whatever the fluid liquid ender pearls is called. But in any case, this is now the new power supply for my base. So I'm still trying to get enough fuel to fill it, but this guy tops out at 280 flux per tick. And it's just pretty crazy with the amount of fuel that it can consume. So I've been turning everything to use this new generator, and you can see that it's actually putting most of these rods down at zero because there's not enough draw energy demand to need the full capacity of this generator. So what I have here is still the laser drill. I'm thinking of adding another laser drill and put it on yellow focus. That'll be a thing I can do to get more yellorium. Though I did find that there is a recipe for the QED that takes yellorium ore. So this yellorium ore will produce 3 pieces of yellorium ingots for every block of ore instead of the normal 2 conversion. I just have to feed it coal, which I have an awful lot of. And for some reason, I found out that the QED actually works with a hopper to draw items out. So I think that might be a way I can at least semi-automate the QED. And you can also see I added a lot more ender flux crystals to the mix. So I installed the cursed earth here in the mob farm, so this is now generating mobs like all the time now. So these are still being captured and fed into the ME system. I haven't figured out what to do with the mob spawner, so I'm just letting the essence build up here in the drums. So I've also been having a couple problems with the Ender Quarry that I've set up over in the Deep Dark. It seems like every other time I reboot, this is or close the game out and start over again, it seems to reset the Ender Quarry back at 0. So it takes a little while for this to start spewing out items again. I'm not sure why it's losing its place, but I also managed to completely tap out my cobblestone supply. So I got as far as 4 septuple compressed cobblestone, and then I drained my deep storage unit. So I'm going to have to look into a better cobble producing method. Right now this is much too slow for what I want to do. And there's still something drawing off. Oh, this guy over here is drawing off cobble. This is actually filling up faster than it's being drawn down, which is good enough. So I also found out that heat sand is another material that can ground down in the automatic sieve. So I filled that out with a fortune upgrade, and so this is going to produce yellorium. So here you can see I have quite a bit of yellorium dust, which I can use to make the ingots to feed the generator downstairs. So yeah, so I was playing around a little bit with thaumaturgy. Specifically, I managed to get a working infusion area. So it turns out that in order to infuse items, I need these tallow candles which provide a stability effect. And so everything in, I think, a ±5 up to 12 blocks radius of your infusion area, that's going to count to stabilize the Thaumcraft infusion. And this is my array of warded jars, which is what feeds the infusion rituals. So over here, doing a little, so I basically worked my way through the Thaumic energistics here. I've almost completed the whole set, at least I think I have. So I'm up to the point where I'm able to build assemblers. I have not yet created any V relays, but I have created, well, what I've tried to do is created my first alchemical automated crucible, and what I found is that I put down the items. I accidentally dropped one of the alchemical constructs into the crucible. Yeah, that's why it's full of aspects there. And so all I need to do is tap this with a fully charged wand, and voila, it has become a automated alchemical construct. So what's supposed to happen is I can set up formulas here which will draw off the network. So let's pick something. Well, I don't really have, yeah, there's kind of a, whoops. Let's see if I can make a, let's try to make a balance shard with the alchemical construct. So in theory, it should pull essentia out of this essentia provider. Okay. So to make a fire, no, I don't want to do that. I think I want to do it the other way, where I grab a shard and that'll make a balance shard. Okay, so looks like I have enough here. Okay, I just need to find a way to feed in. Oh, okay, let's try that again. Let's grab a couple more shards this time. And let's just double check the quantity of balance shard. In fact, let's take all the balance shards out of the ME system. And what should happen is that if I feed shards in here, oh, there we go. So it's dropping shards out the front and basically putting them in my inventory. So if I drop another one in here, there it goes, spits it out. Now I have 6 in my inventory. Great. So what's supposed to happen is it's not supposed to have any kind of waste material in the crucible. I think this is just going to have to boil down somehow. What just happened? I don't know. This is like filling up with weird stuff. So I don't know if it's actually putting items into the crucible or not when it's creating the formula here. If I can't tell. Yeah, see, it's kind of filling up here. I don't think it's actually draining out the crucible. I just have to wait for these to boil down and become flux, and then wait for the flux to boil off too. So with that, I have this alchemical furnace hooked up to an arcane alembic, hooked up to a import bus. So anytime I burn down any items here in the furnace, it's going to produce the essence fluid, which we see here is rapidly filling up precontatio, air, and vitreous. So that's going to transfer slowly up into the alembic, which is being loaded by the import bus back into the ME system. So here we see I am very slowly absorbing additional essentia. I made a couple more 1K storage units here. See, I'm not even tapped into my third. It was a little painful to get started, and I didn't quite understand what was going on with the matrix. I had to watch some videos to understand how it draws off the system. Alright, so one of the last things that I made in the infusion ritual was an infusion provider. So in theory, anytime I make a formula here in the runic matrix with the infusion pedestal, it should instead start to draw material here out of my ME system storage instead of drawing it. I think it's probably going to draw it from the remaining warded jars, because that seems to be the closest reserve to the infusion stone. So let's see what items I need to make here in the quest book. So if we head down to thaumaturgy, I really wanted to make some new wands, but I think a lot of this is beyond my capability right now. Alright, so let's try to make a blazing rod. So the rod's going to need a fire shard. Yep, so balance shard, blaze rod, fire shard. Okay. And as the last piece, I need to make sure that I have some of these Bestia, Ignis, and Precontatio. I don't think I have any Bestia yet. No. Okay, so let's come over here. The Bestia aspect comes from these items. So beef, leather, imp leather, great. So let's try that. Wow, I have 1,400 of it. Okay. I didn't realize I'd gone that crazy. So let's see what I need to do in order to get another import bus. Maybe that's my low-hanging fruit. So what I found is if I go to these shaped recipes, that's how I can shift-click in. So diffusion core, let's grab one of those. We'll need a filtered essentia tube. Nope, missing those filters. So let's grab a couple of those. Alright, looks like I do not have enough material here. There we go, switch wand. So I need to find a way to get a better wand. At least a higher capacity wand. Let's grab the other alembic here. There we go. So that should, in theory, any items here should transport up into the second alembic while the first one is processing here. So, that doesn't seem to actually be transferring the items. Well, you know, so I'll have to see if that's effective or not. So, back to the blaze rod. Okay, so, yes. So we should have some of the animals, the bestia. Okay. So I have enough of everything now, I think. So let's set up. So I'm going to need to put the fire, the rod, and the balanced shard. So these are going to need to go in a straight line. Okay. And tap that with the wand. In theory, that should start drawing all the material, let's see, out of the jars. Great. And the ME system. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, once this gets all the items it needs, it's going to destroy the items, and there is my ta-da, blazing rod. So with that, blazing rod gets me a quartz rod. Wonderful. So, I'm going to have to work through some of these on my, probably off camera, because of the quantity of items and the annoyance of working through this. Charged thaumium caps. Okay, so actually could use that silverwood scepter. Let me try that. Charged thaumium caps. Here we go. Charged thaumium cap. It's going to need some Salus Mundus with an inert thaumium cap. Going to need some Aurum and Potentia. Here, this is what I can make in the work table. Thaumium nuggets, right? So, thaumium nuggets. Probably going to need to make 2 of these. So let's set that up. Put the wand back in. And 1 and 2. Great. So these are inert thaumium caps. Go back over here. Let's make some Woundus. So that I just made a formula with the redstone furnace. So here we go, 3 of these. So in order to make a charged thaumium cap, okay, Aurum and Potentia, of which I probably have neither. I have a little bit of Potentia, so back to the Aurum. So, not putting that in any way. Ethereal essence. Let me see if I can whip up some of that. Alright, I see. So, any kind of ethereal essence is going to have Aurum as the secondary byproduct. So I'm just going to pick the one that I have the most of here and see if that's something I can boil down. There we go. So I'm going to need 6 Aurum. Well, I only have 1, so I'm going to have to wait for that to boil down. Alright, so now I have my 6 Aurum. So let's set up the... This is going to need to be in 120 degree locations, roughly. So let's try for 1 down here, 1 over here, 1 on top, and that in the middle. Boop. Okay, now we're grabbing all of our stuff out of the ME system. Wonderful. So when I first set this up, I had no idea what I was doing. It turns out I did not have anywhere near enough material to complete the recipe, and all it ended up doing was absorbing more and more and more material, because I never had enough all at one time to finish the recipe. And then Flux kept knocking the stuff off of the pedestals. It was just like one hot mess. So fortunately, I think I've gotten to the point where I understand the crafting system now enough that I can oh yeah, so I should have checked, but I think that might actually be a problem. Is that enough? Yep, that's enough. Okay, awesome. So now I have 2 Thaumian caps. I only needed 1, but it's going to give me this scepter, and grab the reward bag. Now with the scepter, there's one thing I wanted to make out here that was pretty cool. So this arcane assembler is going to need, well, quite a bit of material, quite a bit of aspects V, but once I get it, I'll be able to automate all of the minor crafting that, you know, the system. I'll start to be able to make formulas using the Essentia ME system in the same way that I'm doing it with physical objects, and yeah, I'm totally looking forward to that. To oh, am I gonna have to? Oh, good. This is all charged up already. Great. So, so let me regroup, and I'll figure out what my next task is. All right, here I am back at the old ME system, and so I think what I'd like to do is polish off the power grid, or as much as possible, here in the power grid tree. So there's a number of things that I haven't tackled yet. So one of them is plant fuel and this power conversion. So mana flux field and bioreactors. So bioreactors are a generating source that you basically feed it plant fuel, fermented spider eye. Okay, let's grab one of those. So I've kind of moved beyond it. I don't need the material anymore. the Big Reactor is actually the much better provider of material than these bioreactors. Let's throw them out at least and scan them for the research points. So those are what I need here. Eventually, someday, I'm finally going to start working on the farm again. But I've been really lax with that as far as what I need to do to build it out. I really need a better source of dirt. So maybe what I should do is take the trees and start collecting the leaves in a way that I could start boiling those down for dirt in the oak barrels. So, all right, 1 mana flux field. And that'll finish off the running. This is a Botania fuel source. Basically, I can burn down mana and convert it into RF. So it's going to give me another mana distributor, which is nice. So let's take a look at a hand pump clockwork engine. I don't think I'm going to be needing that, but let's just, for the sake of completion, this is going to need a copper gear and a timepiece, the old clock. Bada bing, clockwork engine. Okay, mud fuel. If I have a sludge boiler, yep, I have some of that. Oh, peat moss for a peat-fired engine. Sure. That doesn't seem very efficient to me, but okay, copper gears. Gonna need 2 of them this time. There we go. Peat-fired engine. Most of these are going right back in the ME system for all time. Food to fuel. So this is going to take various edible objects and turn them into RF. So I think, if I recall, all these different extra utilities generators all top out at 80 RF per tick. Now, that's not gonna cut anymore. Purple potion burns potions for fuel. Interesting. Okay, potion generator. There we go. Potions generator. It's kind of amazing I've got all this junk just lying around in the ME system. Leadstone energy cell. Well, that might be useful. Since it's already full sun power, it's going to need a solar panel. Solar panel 1. So what I'm going to need are some mirrors. And done. So just being exposed to the sky is going to generate RF. I've heard that the level 3 solar powered generators are quite useful. Iron rotor and a flux windmill. Piece of cake. Flux windmill basic. Done. Give me a level 2 solar panel. More wind is just an Electrum version. So let's grab the Electrum rotor. Grab one of those. And then flux windmill reinforced. Well, looks like I could probably make the hardened one. Let's see, basic makes a hardened, and then the hardens make a flux. There we go. Done, done. This is going to give me a reward bag and flux electrum. Nice. Multiplying power. I'm going to need a level, okay, culinary generator. That looks like a tier 2. Oh, I'd say it's a time 8. Okay, so I'm going to need quite a bit. Transfer node energy is going to be the tricky thing. So, do I have I don't think I have the breadth first search upgrade. Well, that's easily done. So, to make this, I'm going to need gold, the transfer node, and the breath first. So let's grab some of that and those transfer nodes. And then fortunately head back to the QE system, QED, the now souped up QED system. And that should give me one of those, which just got sucked into the ME system. Okay. So I have one of the culinary generators. So I'm going to need 7 more, which means I'm going to need survival generators, which means I'm going to need cobblestone? Oh, right. So I had disabled the cobblestone storage system to kind of unlink it from the cobblestone compressor. What I really should have done was just broken one of these. There we go. Now I can come back and kind of re-hook this up. Okay, there we go. Put that in. Put a cobble. Alright, and that should make that visible to the ME system again. So let's make a survivalist formula here. Yep, I don't have one already. You can see my system's getting full again. I'm going to have to upgrade my storage or my terminals very soon. So let's make 7 more of these. And that means I should be able to make 7 more of these. 6, 7, and 1 culinary generator. Great. Rewards is 1 level 2 or tier 2 potion generator. Also not very useful. Alright, top tier. It's going to need a tier 3 culinary generator. Which is now going to need 7 culinary generators. Which means I'm going to need 7 of the transfer node energies. And then I'm going to need this hyper energy, which is 4 of these and a bedrockium. Well, bedrockium is not that hard, fortunately. Since I'm able to compress my way to get there, I'm just going to need a lot of cobble. So let me do a quick cut and take care of these prerequisites. Alright, I'm back, and I should have everything I need to make this culinary generator. So let's whip up 8 of these. I should have all the formulas defined. 7, 8. So with 8 culinary generators and a transfer node energy, that should make one of the tier 2 culinary generators. And now in theory, I should be able to make 7 more of these. Oh, I'm missing furnaces, of course. Something so simple. Why would I ever need to make a formula for that? Oh, this is why. So now I should be able to make 7 more of these. And voila. So the hardest thing was making these transfer nodes because the QED system does not have any kind of hooks into the ME system. So I had to actually walk over and make all the breath first cards and whip up I think like 15 these transfer nodes. And well, I'm just gonna let this burn down. Actually, it might be done pretty soon, now that I look at it. Yep, there we go. So with that, I should have everything I need for the tier 3 culinary generator. There we go, which means that finishes off the top tier generation. And the only thing left then is the infinite power transport. So this is going to need a cryo-stabilized flux duct. And I've made plenty of these before with the in Sky Factory. These are kind of a pretty easy easy thing to do once you have cryothium. But yep, I got plenty of those. Let's put all the regen back into the ME system. Cryothium dust is going to need one cryo-stabilized flux duct. So let's head back down to the magma chamber. And as always, item goes in the upper left, and items to be burned down come over here. Oops, I made a little bit too many. That's okay, because now I should have in the ME system a cryo-stabilized flux duct. Bada bing. Let's get 4 more, and done. Ah, interesting. So that opened up one more quest, which is still locked, which requires something else to be completed first. So, with that, I think I'm going to call this an episode. So, a little bit of crafting. I've almost finished yet another tree in the book, but hopefully I'll be able to make some more headway in the next episode. So with that, if you could, please leave a like or a comment, and I will see you next time on Agrarian Skies 2. Bye!